So when I took statistics in high school, they made us read Freakonomics, and it is an awesome introductory book to just incentive structures and the mindset of things. It's more just examples of showing like what economists look for and why and what they're using. And it's just like, again, it's an amazing introductory book about just what to look for. And I think one of the big issues now that a lot of people have is that they tend to just assume things are correlated. They tend to assume that things just are the way they are because that would make sense. And we find out that with a lot of issues, you would think they would be one way, but it turns out they're not. You would think two things wouldn't be correlated, but they actually are. And of course, correlation does not equal causation again. But there are some neat things. Like, for example, this isn't in the book, but seatbelts save lives kind of thing. Well, a mandatory seatbelt law, I believe there's a study by Robert Murphy. I'll see if I can find it and put it in the description. There was a study of, like, seatbelt laws, of do seatbelt laws save lives? And it turns out they actually don't, because people wear their seatbelts that normally wouldn't. They feel safer. They might drive slightly more dangerously. They might get in slightly more car crashes, which is fine if you're wearing a seatbelt and you survive, but doesn't exactly help any pedestrians, doesn't help any bicyclists that these slightly more dangerous drivers might run over. So just stuff like that you would think would help, but they actually don't. But Freakonomics talk about teachers cheating on test scores. Like, if a teacher gets a benefit from their students getting good grades, they might change some answers on the test. And they think, like, okay, if a teacher were to do this, how would they go about doing this? Like, what would they do to hide it, but also raise the test scores? And they go through that of, this is what we would look for. And they did that. And what do you know? Like, they found some instances of that. They talked about sumo wrestling, about how, I guess, sumo wrestlers need to win 8. They need to win 8 times per, I don't know if it's per season or whatever you call it, but I'm not a fan of sumo wrestling, but they need to win a certain amount of times to stay in, like, the elite. So they were going on about how, like, hey, you can find that there are certain things that suggest that the sumo wrestling, like, elite at the top work to keep themselves in, that someone that has already gotten their 8 will forfeit a match to get one of their friends to stay in that elite. Like, it's kind of like they work together like that. There are a few other areas of, like, abortion. Does abortion lower crime? If you abort all of these people that could be potential criminals. Now, they don't of course, when it comes to, like, abortion, they're not saying, hey, this is justified. They're just saying, like, does this correlation exist? Whether it's right or not, does this correlation exist? Stuff like that really makes you look into just the mindset. It's all a mindset thing of incentive structures. And those are incredibly important. So, yeah, I would recommend it as a very, like, introductory book to just understanding that mindset of economics. If you want to learn economics, this isn't really much the book for you, but again, it's the mindset of statistics, and that's why I read it in a statistics class, because it's talking about what to look for, what statisticians look for. But I thought it was a fantastic book. I might read it again. I read it 5 years ago. I might read it again just to refresh myself, but I thought it was fantastic. If you've read it, let me know what you think in the comments. Like the video if you enjoyed, subscribe for more, and thanks for watching.